doing Sunday night at Mike's. Thank you so much for taking time to join this evening. Whether you're watching live right now, actually, there's nobody watching live right now. It'll warm up though. Or if you're watching this in the rerun, I do appreciate you for taking the time to watch. Well, tonight actually is my 200th episode on this channel. My 200th upload will be this live stream tonight. It actually feels really good to be able to say that after all of these years of putting in the work, a YouTube channel really is a thing that you've got to put work into. You really get out of it what you put into it. And so the fact that I was lucky enough to be able to have a YouTube channel, I think a couple of things helped me. Is actually the lockdowns helped because more people started watching YouTube. And of course, as you know, there was a much bigger increase in sales of guitars and things of that nature during, accessories, accoutrements, basses, and things of that nature, pedals. And the interest really skyrocketed in this category, and it just was fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time, I guess, doing the right thing. So 200 episodes later, and here we are. It's very amazing to me that I started this channel out in my the first episode I filmed in my studio in Singapore, and my home studio in Singapore. And hey, Newland, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, I started out in Singapore, and I didn't know where it was going to go. I really had in my mind the thought to myself, well, hey, dude, you're out here in Asia, like deep Asia, and you're able to go off and see these guitar stores and shops that other people really don't or may never have the opportunity to even visit, especially in Cambodia and Laos and Vietnam and some of those places that the channel went to. So it really just started out as a way of documenting what other guitar stores were like in other parts of the world, and really trying to expose you guys to how, in some cases, how fortunate you are where you live to have such a selection of equipment as compared to other parts of the world, or in some cases, like in Japan and Thailand, how you might be getting the crumbs from the table, so to speak, because all the really creme de la creme stuff is in Japan, in my opinion. After traveling the world and visiting many music stores, literally all over the world, the creme of the creme stuff, the best of the best stuff, really is in Japan. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa, Newland. Lucky guy. But really, there was the opportunity for me to share that experience that I was going through there in Singapore, and to really just take a minute to first appreciate that I was in that position. I still to this day have no idea how I lucked out with the way things went in my life, but also just to give back. Really, all of my music career, one of the things that I really was taught was to give back. Hey, thanks for that. Really great deep dive with Epiphone 59. Hey, yeah, and to be able to do cool stuff like this, to be able to make videos, getting into the equipment, and really kind of not giving you my opinion, but yeah, to share experience and to give back. So, because I had a lot of guys when I was starting out, I had a lot of guys at Motown Records who took a chance with me, and they didn't have to. Reggie Andrews, I've talked about Reggie Andrews, the producer of the song Let It Whip, the writer of that, and how he assisted me. And all of these guys were actually, I guess, paying it forward, even in their cases. So I said to myself, I'm going to be a pay it forward kind of guy. And that's how this channel got started. That's really essentially how things got going with this channel, is just taking the time to give back a little bit. So 200 episodes later, here we are, and I am quite pleased. You know, I read in the paper today that the papers, are there really ever which jazz? Which jazz? I don't quite catch it. Jazz players do you listen to? Oh, well, oh yeah. We talked about that a couple live streams ago. When I was growing up as a young boy, my father was completely into jazz music. In Los Angeles, there was a jazz radio station called KKGO, 93.5 FM, something like that. And 24 hours jazz station. So you got Wynton Marsalis of the Young Group. You've got, going back to 40s stuff. I like Satchmo. I like this. I like vocal stuff. I like Ella a lot. I listen still here at home. I listen to a great deal of Ella Fitzgerald. I live just down the street from the Concertgebouw, and I like to listen to a recording that she did there down the street here from upstairs in the right studio in 1966. And it just blows my mind, This is just another thing about my life that just blows my mind, but that she was there at that time, just down the street, and that recording is beautiful. A lot of instrumental jazz, too. Kind of blue, I was thinking about the other day. I've been thinking about Miles Davis a lot, about that modal jazz, writing around modes. And I was thinking about Charlie Parker a lot, and how that brother, that's too filthy of a story for me to say on my live stream. But let's just say that he had a penchant for fried chicken and girls. And sometimes he'd like to enjoy them at the same time. So yeah, jazz, to answer that question, a lot of jazz. Even Dixieland, going back in the 20s to the roots of it. I always say, if you're going to understand music, you kind of have to go back to the roots of it. You have to go back all the way back to 1919. That's really when Satchmo got his big start. And what came out of New Orleans, and how that combination of European music and Afro-Cuban rhythms, that gumbo pot of Louisiana at that period of time, and how all those influences came about to produce jazz, which is a true American art form. It's original to that country. And its origins are from that country because of that. And so, yeah, a lot of jazz. But anyway, I was reading on the internet today. I hope I answered that question. Yeah, maybe too much. I was reading on the internet today about the fact that PRS guitars have outsold all the other Fenders and Gibsons and other manufacturers combined on reverb. The PRS, what is that, the Silver Star? All good, man. I'm enjoying the info. Oh, I'm glad you are. Thank you. I could ramble on for hours about jazz because, like I said, my father, that's what to this day, that's what he listens to. My father's he was a true audiophile, and he spent a lot of his money in putting into a good sound system and stereo and all that whatnot. So believe me, I've been around good recordings all my life, and it's been quite a pleasure and quite an education. So yeah, jazz, I could go on for hours. There's a Keith Jarrett album. Keith Jarrett was a piano player. He's passed away, but he had a jazz album that I would play. Most albums were played on the turntable. You could switch between 33 and a third to 70. So I would I would play his albums faster because, in my opinion, his playing sounded better fast. That's something you can't do on iTunes or on Spotify. But I used to listen to it that way because it just flowed better. at a faster speed. And it's weird stuff like that. Um, and so the Silver Sky is the number one guitar out there, guys. Now, a long time ago, it's been now, if you check the channel, you'll see where I went to a place called Tishigaki in Tokyo. I was there, and it's actually where I bought a couple of guitars, a couple of Gibsons from them. But on one trip there, I was talking to my guy there, and he was saying to me that this is 5 or 6 years ago, mind you, and he was saying to me that the increase in interest of Strats, no Telecasters. Yeah, there was a stat on Tellys there. Silver Sky outsold all Strats. That's right. That's correct. All Strats. Now, that is something to me. That is incredible. And I guess to you guys too, because you know about it. That is incredible that the Silver Sky, not on, thank you, Noodle. Not, well, okay. On Reverb, it sold, hey, all right, doing good. I saw Reverb, it was talking about, in terms of Reverb sales, it outsold not all guitars in manufacturing, but on Reverb. So regardless of which, it is a amazing thing that the Silver Sky now is considered to, I guess that would make it the Strat to have, which I'm sure to the chagrin of Fender, that's got to sting a little. That's got to sting a little bit. That would sting me a little bit. Really, PRS guitars back in the 90s, they were the reason why Gibson had to get their act together. Everybody says the Goodwood era. Look back in my channel, look at what I have to say about the so-called Goodwood era. And they said there's a reason, there was choice woods and everything was, they stepped up their quality control. The quality of the woods that they selected was improved, and it was just this great golden era for some weird reason. Well, no, there was no real reason behind it. The reason was PRS guitars hit the scene and was kicking their butt. Absolutely, no doubt. I was there, I remember. So, they had to step up their game. They had to, start using better woods. They had to improve their manufacturing and their QC. They had to do a lot of things at Gibson because finally somebody came along and was a competition. So badly so that it wasn't until 89 with the advent of Slash giving them a little bit, not a little bit, a big boost, and then that conjunction of PRS guitars coming by that really made that 90s era of Gibson what it was. It was market pressure. It's just strictly market pressure. And now, in 2022, we see PRS giving Fender a similar spanking. This is not new, it's like George Lucas says, it rhymes, and it's really the past just coming back again. So this is PRS giving Fender a spanking, and you have to wonder, what are they going to do in the case of what's happening with Fender and some of their new marketing ideas, going like the Gibson Garage and selling that route, and really putting an emphasis on their higher end models. Whereas I believe the PRS models, Silver Sky model, are obviously very expensive, but still they're considered reasonable when you start looking at some of the higher end Fender custom shop items. So this has got a sting for Fender, and good on PRS. It just goes to show you guys that if you have a good product that really resonates with the buying public, the retail public, then you can prevail. And this is twice in its 30, 40-year history that PRS has given one of its competitors a spanking. And that trend will continue. Now, of course, the artist she, S period, H period, E period, is that how? Yeah. She, the guitar player, she, of course, was that boost and a smart marketing boost that PRS needed when she did that Super Bowl with the Silver Sky. And, John Mayer used to be the man, but let's be honest, that generation has moved on, just the fact of the matter. And she represents the new artist that is going to have that kind of focus that can influence guitar players. In this case, not just guys, but girls as well. So women. So it is quite an interesting time to be in, and I really think that you'll see a rethinking at Fender. Uh, I would like to see a rethinking at Fender. I am in the market for one more guitar. I am looking for another Telecaster, but there is no way in God's green earth anytime soon that I'm going to purchase one. I normally, this would be something that I would go off to Japan and go to Tishigaki and see what they've got and bring it back with me. But right now, Japan is restricting still the to people who can go in. And so I will have to respect that and wait. And I can wait. I think we'll see changes in the Fender marketing strategy. I think we'll see them trying to increase their outreach to influential younger artists, and to try to increase their. They have. I'm not knocking the Fender artists. There's a couple that are that already exist, of course. However, PRS has moved to get to get her as kind of a national spokesman there on the stage at the Super Bowl with their guitar. That's brilliant. That was a brilliant move, and it seems to be paying off. All right, guys, where are we at? 17 minutes. Well, I had no idea what I was going to talk to you guys about tonight. I was just jazzed over the fact that this is my 200th episode. There are some things, of course, that I could get into, but if the two of you guys that are currently, well, I was up to 8 there in a minute. Where'd everybody go? Hey, where'd everybody go? It's all right. No, if you guys have anything you want me to ramble on about, I'm sure we can find something. What was the other subject that I wanted to talk about? Yeah, really, I have come to another kind of epiphany. Are you talking about her? She. I said S-E, yes. It's not S-H-E, it's H-E-R. Oh my God. Sorry guys, it's late. But you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about her, H-E-R. H.E.R. Yeah, her. Thank you. Thank you so much. Correction on that. It is late. She plays a Fender though. No, she did a Super Bowl thing where she had the PRS Silver Sky. That's how I recall it. That somehow or another she had a Silver Sky, and that was a big thing. If anybody out there can check that for me, as a matter of fact, I'm positive that doesn't even need to be checked. I'm sure of that, and that's pretty brilliant. And the Silver Sky, really, with their color scheme, with the fact that they chose really. I'd love to hear your thoughts on attenuators. Oh, I've got an attenuator right here. Sure, let's do that. We'll do that, Ben. Just let me finish up on making an ass out of myself on this last one. Yeah, she. I'm sorry, guys. It's not she. It's H-E-R. Her. Beautiful artist. Wonderful player. I got actually exposed to her through Rick Beato recently. Talked about her, and I kind of looked her up. Take your time. Thank you, sir. She's wonderful. And anyway, the PRS guitars are pretty interesting to me. The Silver Sky was Eminem's guitarist. Oh, okay. That was the last Super Bowl, but I'm not talking about this. Yes, and also that's true as well. I saw that as well. Yeah, they're really, and I do believe the year before was HER, not SHER, SHE, it's HER. And she had the Silver Sky. I may be wrong about that, but there was a big deal about 2 years or so about that. But regardless, even with this new Super Bowl with Eminem's guitarist, that is correct. He was playing that as well. A brother was playing that guitar. And that's just brilliant marketing. And because that's really going to reach a wide audience of people that even YouTube, you could give it to a million YouTube influencers and you wouldn't have the outreach of just a moment on the, as you pointed out, this last Super Bowl in itself is another example of PRS and their brilliant marketing and why they're selling. And the color scheme, as I was getting into, I love those colors. Those are really gorgeous, unique colors. And if you're a stage performer and you went out on stage, that would be an awesome look just from that standpoint. So they're doing all the right things. Attenuators. All right, let's talk about attenuators. Okay, if I can reach here. Whoa. All right, here we go. Attenuator. This is the Harley Benton power attenuator. And if you take a look on the back, you can see that you have the option of doing 816 or 4 ohm inputs on this device. Again, guys, attenuators are very handy tools to have if you're really into having your power amps. If that is your thing. Just the other day, I went down to Axe Palace to visit my good friend Nick down there. We did an interview with him a few weeks ago, a month or so ago, and he was showing me the new Chinese-made 5150. And by the way, guys, for under $1,000, that new 5150 that just came out, I'm not sure the designation complete, but it's the newest 5150 made in China. He has of course, that's all he has is just amps. So he was able to do an A/B between the higher end 5150 and this lower cost below $1,000 amp head 5150. He did an A and B between them, and I'll be honest with you, if you're going to go for the 5150, go for that Chinese one under 1,000, that head, because it has all the tones that you can get. You can dial in really close. And he was using his shop's attenuator to go between those, but he was cranking it still. He had it cranked all the way up, but he was using an attenuator. And I asked him, do you do a lot of attenuation or do you just let somebody plug in? He says, no, because first the neighbors would have a cow, which, with these stone buildings, still sound can leak through. And he said, no, anyway, he uses, it was some device. It was a switcher device, but it was an attenuator device. And I was really fascinated with that. So they are a necessary thing to have. I now have had the cab, the Torpedo, the Cab 8 for a while now. That also, as you know, is an attenuator. Does a lot more than this one. This one just attenuates. So this one will cut down, depending upon how you adjust it over here, the volume of your power amp when you run it through this. The Cab 8, as you know, that does a whole lot more. Between that Cab 8 and this device right here, I would have to say that these are starting to look a little old-fashioned. The reason that these are as big as they are is because inside here there's a cooling fan. When you're running a 50 watt or 100 watt head, it's going to start cooking. And so these have to have, even the torpedo has a fan in it, but they've reduced the size of it. And frankly, with my Laney, my 15 watt amp, it doesn't cut on at all. It is the quietest thing. I was worried. Everybody said, "Oh, well, you hear the whirling of the fan when it's on." No, sir, nothing. It's quiet. This one, however, when I do run it with my Laney, the fan does kick in. So I think that these are kind of dinosaurs now, this style. There's a couple of companies that put this style out, but I think that the torpedo is the way to go if you're going to go with attenuation. Yes, they're pricey. This is 65 euros, roughly 67, 68 US dollars. The Cab Zeus is going to run you 200 to 210. I'm sorry, not Cab Zeus. The torpedo, the Cab 8 is going to, or 16 or 4, whichever configuration you choose, is going to run you 200 plus, 210 or something like that. So you have to make that decision as well. However, as I said, that torpedo does a lot more. It really is a fantastic way of just doing direct miking from your amp into your DAW. In terms of attenuator, you can then go on stage with it. You can use it as a regular attenuator to do regular attenuation like this does, or you can take advantage on stage of the cabinets that it comes with. And you can just run your power amps through that. It's a more versatile instrument than this is. These are great. Like I said, this is the second one of these type of units that I bought this, and then I think not too long after, as you guys know, I got the Cab 8, the torpedo. So this one, this one is more of a prop here. It's kind of when it's been regulated to. Oh, squeeze it there. Sorry, Moose. Just dropped Moose. Sorry, buddy. I thought we would have our present little black box amp or the Electro Harmony signal pad. Do you know them? No. I'm afraid. Sorry, Moose. I thought for a 200 show we would have Moose here, our mascot. No, I'm not familiar with those. Could you actually elaborate a little bit on the black box? That sounds familiar. Rings a bell. I really am digging, and I hate to admit it, guys, but that Universal Audio series of pedals, the Dream 65, the Ruby, and the Tweed that I forget what it's called, the third one, the Tweed 55 basically is what it is. Those are really starting to fascinate me. They're kind of like attenuated pedals, but aren't attenuators. Well, you can attenuate if you're playing humbuckers, you can attenuate your amp just using the controls on your tone and your volume. You can crank. What I do is I crank my amp volume all the way up, even here in the house. When I crank the volume up all the way up, but I lower the volume on my volume on my guitars, and that's a type of attenuation because when you're playing live, you can use that. You can have for your cleans, you can have your neck pickup with the volume down low, still with your amp cranked, and then with your bridge pickup, you can have that cranked up so that you can immediately just flick and go into it. That's a way of attenuating. Pedals, yes, of course. One of these has an attenuator built into it as well. Ooh, I am just dropping stuff today. This is the Harley Benton Bass DI Expander. This is what I use to record all my bass parts. Yeah, that's what I want to be cram my amp the edge of break up it into my apartment. Yeah, that's real simple, Ben. You know, just use. I mean, this will do it for you. This power attenuator that I just showed you, that'll do it to a certain extent. But you can do that anyway. Up. I mean, even with a 50 watt. I don't know. What do you have? I don't know what you're running. But just use your volume on your. Just keep your volume. That's one way of doing it. That's what I did before I picked this up. And I didn't. As I just pointed out, I still haven't used it. And I don't even use the torpedo for that. I just crank the amp all the way up, turn the volume up, and I just hit my control because. And that's another reason I have the Bulgaria PS Power. So yeah, this right here is a note for note copy of the Bulgaria Power Sub, the PS1. This is a copy of that. This is Harley Benton's copy of that. So yeah, great. That'll do the job. Certainly. That the fan noise may get on your nerves, or the Dr. Z air brake. Yet another one. Yeah, there's quite a few out there. Like I said, this one does attenuation in it as well, and it's all in the pedal. This is actually really cool. This is the best bass DI pedal that I have ever had. I have had, as you know, from the past, what was that? Marcus Miller bass DI rack. I had a couple other ones, just big units, expensive $500, $600 units that I was recording bass through. This little sucker right here, I forget how much it is. It's not much. Is a killer. What is it? 80 euros or something like that. If you want to do your record, this will do it for you. It doesn't have any kind of speaker emulation in it, but what it does do is it gives you a really good control over that bass going in. Volume codes and effects loop. Well, also, speaking of that, you know, a wall pedal can, what's it called? What's it called again? This one right here. This is the Harley Benton Bass DI Expander. The Harley Benton Bass DI Expander. This guy is the money. And I'm not kidding. I recorded a great deal, half and half, using this and my other more expensive device. And you're welcome. I frankly like the sound of this over 500-600 devices that I've had to record, DIs that I've had. This thing, again, is another situation where those are it's going to get sold. Eventually, I'm going to put it on my reverb because this does the job for a fraction of the price, and it's got a lovely tone to it. Anyway, a wall pedal. If you half cock your wall, if you go through here and you half cock it, you just leave it like that. Can also act as an attenuator, as a volume pedal. It'll change the tone. It'll give you, that. Of course, a volume pedal instead of a wall pedal, as was just pointed out here, will do the trick for you. Well, there's a lot of different ways of doing it. The simplest and the most old-fashioned way, and the way that I learned from cats like my Uncle Carlton, is turn up the amp all the way. This is the reason why you really want to have good pots and caps in your guitar. Whether it's humbucker or single coil. You really, especially in the case of humbuckers, if you've got that 50s wiring and you got a really good taper on your volume, that's when it's gold. That's the reason why you want to invest in having that, because that is the primary reason that the rock and roll cats they do that. That's what that volume natural volume attenuation that you can just do on your Les Paul or your SG or whatever, your Explorer, whatever. On the Telecaster, the same thing. The same thing. Yeah, I turn my amps up, and I turn my Telecaster Monica Butterscotch, I turn her down, and yeah. So lots of different ways of getting that. I feel you. I live on the top floor. I'm fortunate. I'm on the top floor of a stone apartment that was built in 1902. But I cannot, in good conscience, crank up my Laney. Even at 15 watts, that thing is 12. That 12-inch cone. That thing is just, it'll blast your eardrums off, and I can't do that. And I don't think my cats would appreciate it too much either. So what I do is I roll off the volume. I have all of these attenuation devices around the house, and I'm not using them. So what does that tell you? I mean, they work. They work in certain circumstances. Uh, live stage. They're both either the torpedo or this one or the Bulgara or any of the other ones you mentioned will do great. Uh, at home, they'll achieve what you want, but you can save yourself a little bit of money by just investing in getting a good taper on your volume on your guitar, and just turning that down and making adjustments from there. That's how. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's just me. Maybe I'm lazy. I don't know. Or just the way it is. But I have, as I said, seriously, guys, that is a prop. It's here to give you guys because I don't touch it. The Joyo I do use. These pedals I do use, but that little piece is. I said, well, it may have. You never know. If I ever get to playing live again, I want to have everything I need to do to go on a live stage. So that I have around here. I never wanted to be deficient if a situation comes up because if they make the call and I go or if the opportunity comes up, I don't want having a lack of equipment or a piece of equipment at my age, to be an issue. Um, So that'll tell you something, though. I have two attenuation devices around the house, and I don't use either one of them. I use the torpedo to record, and that's it. I used it to record with. I wrote a song, "If We Were Made for Each Other," and that was the first track that I used that on, and I love the results using the Laney and that torpedo 8 ohm. But that's the last time I used it. What's the word on my album? My album is done. The album is finished. It is going to my good friend Jock Richmond, the Grammy-nominated producer. I will always give him the honor of saying that because that son of a gun got it and I didn't. Just kidding, Jock. But he is going to master it for me. And then, guys, I want to put it out on vinyl. I said this last week, and I will say I'm looking into what is the cost to press vinyl for this record. What I want to do is play it for you guys. I want to play you a bit of it, at least the first track, Belly Dancer. So I'm trying to decide, should I do a show, a regular, edited weekly show talking about that, or should I do it here on the live and just push play? You guys would be hearing through my studio monitors here and my subwoofer down here on the floor, but I guess either way, some way I want to play you one track of that coming up here in the near future when Jock gets finished mastering it, so that you can hear how it sounds. Um, Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. No, it sounds great. Yeah, I really would like to play you guys some of that. But I am going to wait. Jock's going to master. He's working on it. And then I'd like to put it out on vinyl. Uh, you know, I got a little bit of an idea of how that would work here in Europe. Actually, there's a lot of only vinyl. Yeah, Noodlin. Like I was saying last week, you have to understand. I am, I am distressed by the rates of royalties that are getting paid. Uh, to artists on streaming services. It really just really it bothers me a lot, because I grew up in an era where it just wasn't so. I got lucky. Doing television commercials is great because they call you in, they send you the video, they send you uh, a brief, which is usually a musical brief. So they'll give you a piece of music that they want, that this is an approximation of what they want you to do. Sometimes, if you're cool with the producer, you can throw in a wild card, a song, and say, "Hey, I know you were looking for this, but this matches with this a little bit better." And they pay you a fantastic sum of money because they're buying the royalties for it. So you're just getting, you're getting a lot of money for those. So I was lucky to get into that racket. Uh, Mixing also is a great racket to get into in the music business. I hate to say the word racket, but just part of something that you could do to earn money. Um, those two pay more than being an artist. And I'm talking about even mainstream artists. Uh, we've heard recently of artists who are with major labels, and there's only four now. When I was growing up, there were 12 or 13. Now there's four. Think about the implications of that. That can't release songs, even when they're taking the viewpoint of singles. Hey, I have a single song. I want to put it out. I can't put it out because the record label wants me to create a TikTok viral sensation around it first before, or artificial, media blitz around it before I can release this single. And, when I hear about stuff like that, you can, the steam comes out of my ears. It drives me nuts because even here where you have sold your soul to the devil, so to speak, to get that contract, you still can't put out, there was 12 or 13 and there was four now. That's insane. Yes, when I was growing up, there was 13 or 14 labels. And I was growing in the 90s. When you look at R&B labels, there were a lot more. LaFace was a label. Princess Paisley Park was a label. All that stuff is gone, and it all got bought by the other four. Anyway, when I hear about major artists who have no control over they have no control over their artistry. These are supposed to be the best of the best. That's what the record labels say to us. Yet these people can't put out what they want unless they create some artificial TikTok viral sensation, something around the track. The record labels have demonstrated they have no faith in even the people that they sign. They want a sure bet. It's like walking into Vegas and you know that the table that you're going to walk up with is going to hit every time. That's what they want. And life doesn't work that way. Yeah. But why not CD? I'm getting to that. I don't mind CD as a venue to put it out, physical CDs. Let me see if I can get this out without making too much of a mess here. Ooh. You guys would just love to see what's down here. It is a cornucopia of stuff. Let's see, is it in here? Yeah. All right. So here's one of my CDs of a song that I did called Love Letter that I released on CD. And, pretty elaborate thing here with the jewel case and, the artwork and everything. CDs are great. And I sold a lot of these, but I sold these at live shows. When I was doing live shows in Tokyo, this is where I made my money. The live shows at System in Tokyo, if you know, you don't get money from the bar. You can get money from the front, but you have to guarantee you bring in at least X amount of people. Since I was well liked and I had an audience for years, that wasn't a problem for me. But the proceeds, I had to pay my band. So anything that came in at the door, all that money automatically went to Hideo and Tanoru and the other guys in the band. I paid them. I made my money from CD sales. From after I would do the gig, I would go out in the audience, shake hands, have a little booth, and sell these. So yeah, I've been doing the CD sales thing for a while, and I will consider it. But I just think that CDs are hard to move. There is a resurgence right now in vinyl, and there are a great deal of vinyl and CD shops here in my neighborhood that I could do consignment. I would like to try vinyl first. I'd be totally psyched to have one of my albums on vinyl. That was a single, by the way. That was a single song. So I've done that. I've put out albums. I've also put out singles. I've released them on CDs. All of my albums have been put out on CD. All of my singles as well were put out on CD like that one. That's just an example I have handy. I got a whole box of them over there. But the other part is just being, so I'd like to do the vinyl thing first. And from a sound quality wise, I'm very fascinated because I really, when I mixed this, I had that in mind. I really didn't put a compressor on my master, and because I really want to have dynamic range in my mixes. I'm not trying to hit that threshold, as hard as I can without redlining. I'm not interested in doing that kind of mixing. I want there to be dynamics in the music because if it gets pressed and put on something like vinyl, the listener can hear that. The beauty of this, there's a song that I did called The Well. There's two songs on the album, The Well and A Heart Comes In From the Cold. Both of these I did string arrangements for using Spitfire Audio. I really, and taxed the hell out of my computer. Probably one of the reasons why the first one blew up. Is doing the string arrangements, doing these really big top-down string arrangements for this song. And when I went into mix, and if I really started pushing the compressor when I was mixing it, you guys wouldn't hear a lot of the intricate stuff that's going on that I took the time to score. I scored string arrangements for both of those songs. They are true arrangements with flowing parts, counter melodies, the full orchestra. And I don't do that kind of mixing. So it would be fascinating to hear how this comes out on vinyl. I think it would sound just lovely. So, and again, I have to take a look and see what the cost of something like that's going to be. Here in Europe, there are many pressing plants. So it is not going to be a costly, super expensive thing to do. I had to look at how many are the minimum that I can do. And also see if you guys have an interest in it, CD one thing that I'll do CD, I will do CD and I'll do vinyl, but I am not going to do Spotify. I'm not releasing this album on Spotify, iTunes. Thank you, Ben. It is cool. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's like a anathema to me at this point in time to do that. I didn't work on this, to throw down a black hole. Again, if you three guys are sitting here right now, or any of the other people who listen to this in the rerun are the only ones that hear or support this album, I'm happy because at least I can get feedback on it. I know you're there. I know you're like, of course, the other stuff I get feedback on, but it's a black hole. And there's no longevity to anything that you put up. It's the flavor of the day. It's not even week or month anymore. It's with the flavor of the day now with a lot of music, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to devalue it. So these are my thoughts, and I am going to play it for you. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to play Belly Dancer for you. Let's see if I can get Jock to master that one and get it to me so I can play it next week. That's a great tune. That one is a hybrid. I started recording in my studio in Singapore. The guitar parts are live tracked with the Laney and SM57. And the drums. I love hearing new music, especially music that I've never had accountability behind it. Yeah. Yeah, these A&R guys these days are lazy. They are just god awful. I mean, I thought A&R guys back in my day. Although there were a few guys. The guys at Motown were pretty cool. The guys at Sony in Japan, they were professional. They knew music very well, and some of them were musicians. I just don't think that these modern A&R guys, I don't think they're musicians. I think they're all business college graduates that just got into this because it was a place to make a buck. And to have somebody like that in charge of deciding where music goes, you're shooting yourself in the foot. I'm just going to say it. I'm not disparaging modern music at all. This was not a disparaging. I'm saying that if you're a modern music artist and you can't even put out your stuff through that system, then what the hell? what the hell? I mean, you would think the benefit of being signed to a major is that you'd have the support of the major with what you want to put out, because at the end of the day, it's a product that you believe is going to make them money. You have to pay them back anyway. They're still I'm serious. I'm looking at this at all kinds of angles, and it doesn't make any sense to me why you would sign to a major label if this is, the kind of garbage that you have to put up with. Why do it? So that you can, have people say how great you are. A lot of those guys don't have 2 dimes to rub together. To be frank with you, a lot of them, that's why you hear of a lot of in the rap category, a lot of those guys get shot and killed. Why? Because they're out dealing drugs. Why are they out dealing drugs when they have a record contract? Why would they continue to do that if they are really making money? Why? Because they love selling drugs? No, I don't think so. I think anybody within reason, if they had a way out, and they got signed to a record label that was supposed to give them that way out, and they're still trapped. Just a thought, guys. I'm throwing it out there. Just, hate to throw a little ice water on the fire, but just saying that you look at this modern state of the music industry, and you really have to scratch your head. What the hell is going on? And I do quite often. So that's my thoughts on that. So vinyl or CD, yeah, one of the two. Vinyl first, just because it would be the first. This is my 5th studio album, so I'd like to do something special with it, and then CD. But there's no way in God's green earth that I'm releasing it on streaming. It's just not going to happen. And if I do put it on streaming, it'll be 2 or 3 years from now. When I feel as though I've done everything that I can within my powers to put this out on my own, to do everything that I can to expose it in a way that I find acceptable and that I think that people would appreciate more. I was just wondering a story about Master J from Doom that basically got murdered by a friend because he was selling. Yeah. Again, this is Jam Master J. Of the 3, the coolest guy of the 3. Just a cool guy. Just a really. I met him years and years, about 80 some years and years ago. maybe Jock would remember. I have to ask him just briefly. Shake handshake, how you doing, brother? But just another nice guy, dead, shot. Why? Why? You have to really ask yourself, what is really going on with that? You know, what is really going on? And every day, every week, you hear about some guy getting shot, you know, or dead or this. And, you know, Jam Master Jay, that hurt. That hurt me. That hurt me. Because I was like, why is this brother at this age in this kind, you know, still in this environment, this situation? I'd be so far away from it if I had that level of success. Even Doctor Strange couldn't find me in the multiverse. I'd be gone. All right, guys, I am going to retire for the evening. I thank you so much for being here on my 200th upload. I had no idea when I started this, when I did that first video, first that I'd be sitting here in Amsterdam 200 videos later, but that it would be such a really great show. Take care. Take care, Ben. Thank you so much. God bless you for coming and taking time to listen. Yeah, guys like you, just fantastic to have an audience like you. The audience is not a big one, as you know, but you guys, I look forward to sitting down every Sunday and having these conversations. I really appreciate you showing up and talking. Newland, Ben, all you guys, I really appreciate you coming around. It makes me feel good. It makes my week, and it gives me something to look forward to. So until the next one, guys, thank you so much, as usual, all of you guys for showing up and make it through the week in one piece. Keep your head down, keep yourself safe, and thank you. I appreciate the congrats. You guys be safe out there, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye. I have no idea what the show's going to be this week, by the way. I'll find something to ramble on about. I'm still not sure the last two were well received. I don't think many people gave too much of a care about it, but I found it interesting. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.